All right, everybody. So good morning. Happy Friday. Hope you're all having a great day. Looking forward to a good weekend. Last night I went on Debate Crypto. If y'all haven't seen that, give that a check. We kind of covered a lot of this too last night there. But yeah, essentially we got our range lows right now coming in at essentially about 38K. Right, so this is our range low. We got our range highs, which we actually have for where we're pulling from now here. This is the previous monthly here, so we have not necessarily made it to those range highs here at about 48K. The levels to watch in between here, like I said, for the last few weeks here, the range has been coming in at about 45,000, which is still a pretty big level to get above here, 45.5 area. But we have since seen a little bit of a rejection, starting to make some little lower lows here in the short term, right? So if we continue down, we got some levels to be aware of, right? So let's take a look at those. We got some quarterly key levels right below us, right? We've got right there. All right, so we're holding pretty strong right here, about 43K. Doesn't seem to get too much of a close right below that. This is the 4-hour time chart, by the way, for anybody who's interested there. We've got another quarterly right below us, right, and then this is also pretty much stacked up with our point of control. So this is going to be, this is going to come in at some really decent support below if we do come down to this level. It's about 42K. As you notice here, basically when we kind of came back into this range, where did we go to? We shot straight up to the point of control. At the time, this was an NPOC. So this tends to get back tested pretty well. And as you can see, that was just like a sheer magnet to the price action there. Held it as resistance for a minute, coiled up, and just basically busted right through. So just a couple more, to emphasize some of the downward levels here to be aware of if we do start losing these two right here. We do still have our CME futures gap, which most people are aware of at this point, but if you're not, that is essentially coming in about 40,500, 600, 700 in that region. And what we also have down in that area, right, if we lose this point of control right here, for example, I'd be looking down towards that area, which is right here, around this area, which is also our current weekly pivot. So that would be a decent area of interest. If we do start coming down through these levels once again, we could literally turn around from this $43,000 level and continue onward. So, but if you start losing these levels, this is just what you want to look for. One of the biggest areas to kind of be aware of is pretty much this one, I guess, because if we do lose this, right, this is that CME futures gap. Nobody's probably really looking for the weekly pivot, but if they are, that's something that that is a decent level of support if we come down to that and retest that. But if you do lose this, the bigger psyche that's going to be going through is that we're going to probably come back down to 39 and some change. And if we start losing that 40K level, that rounded 40K, we tend to see a lot of panic come through. And I just want to kind of point out that there are like 3 levels right below here that do come in around $38,000 to $39,000 that have some Y behind them. And there's no reason that if we do start coming down here that it wouldn't be perfectly normal and natural to kind of find some support there, take off, basically put in our high or low, right? We got our lows, we got our highs. If it came down in this region, once again, this is just big ifs, could literally turn around right here any moment. But if you do see that 39K level popping up on your feed again, just know that we'd only be putting in a high or low right here and essentially still creating this uptrend here. So those levels to be aware of. So once again, right, you got quarterly levels, big time frame levels coming in right below us, big support. You got a point of control volume target right below that, another big level of support. A weekly pivot, CME futures gap. Whether the CME futures gap holds much weight on that or not, people will probably try to load up and go long right here, assuming if we get there that's probably the bottom. To me, that kind of insinuates that we might see a little bit more down just to kind of shake some cages. But 39,800, if you remember the last few weeks, we were looking for, let me kind of zoom in and clear this up a little bit. I know there's only like 5 lines on this chart, so I hope it's not too overwhelming looking. But over the last few weeks here, we were looking to, when we were below this level, up until last Friday, we were looking to regain this area for upside continuation, right? To consider upside targets, we really need to get above this level. And that wasn't just random levels getting pulled out of thin air. One of which is that this was a 2-year a 2-year key level coming in here at $39,800 for Bitcoin. That's one of the reasons there. The top of this box basically comes in at the bottom of this previous little range we had going on over here. So if we get into this, we were pretty much re-entering into this range, which is essentially where we've been kind of bouncing around in, with the top coming in about 45K, and then among other reasons as well. And obviously we came straight through this area and have not actually retested it quite yet. So not that we have to, but that's a really great level to be above, right? You're now above. When we were living down here before last Friday, you had literally a 2-year, level of resistance above you, plus all these these 2 quarterlies, plus you had the point of control. So right now, all this is below us now as support. And coming back down into these, we got a lot of really great support below us. The $38,000 into this $38,000 range low. The two things too, right, to be aware of right here is that, all right, well, this is something to be aware of just in general too. We did leave a weekly NPOC, which is a volume target down here at about $37,000. So to me, this would kind of be at worst case scenario to come in and put in this higher high. I would be looking for this region. If we start losing that level, then we're probably going to go back down to these $33,000 and $32,000 levels. But once again, just kind of putting all the ideas on the table here, right? So for downside at the moment, and then we're going to take a look at what we got to look for upside. But there is a weekly NPOC down here at about 37K. Now $38,000 has some weight to it, as that is our monthly open, right? And as well as there's an NPOC there also. So I just turned that off right there, right? So 38.5. So once again, just really big stacks of support below. So if this level doesn't hold for some reason, obviously, like I said, we got a double stacked right here, POC quarterly level right there. You got your weekly pivot and a CME futures gap. You've got a 2-year key level coming in right below that. Volume target right here, the range lows, which essentially still wouldn't be terrible to come down as long as these hold, and we can take off from there. If you start losing the range lows, obviously you got some more issues to worry about. And then there is a weekly NPOC down here, but any of these levels offer some really great support. So that's where we'd be looking for the downside and the why, right? I hope that makes sense. And then for upside, right? Realistically, coming through and clearing 45.5 would probably start taking us back up. We got these range highs now coming in about $48,000. Now, what also comes in around this $48,000 range is our yearly key level that we've been kind of talking on for a couple of weeks now as well. It's not necessarily $48,000, but if we do break through this 45.5K level, I would imagine we kind of get a pretty short run up to that 47,000, and that is coming in right there, basically at the range highs. So $200 difference, give or take. So that definitely would be the area that we'd probably see coming up next. Probably offering up a little bit of resistance in a short term, get above this level, and we've got some really nice targets right above that, right? So 47,700, 47,900, that's definitely going to be a big area for us to kind of reconquer there in the short term. I'm going to turn off all this, and then we're going to look at what this is going to basically breaking this current level that we're at right now. This is actually going to put us back into the December range, right? So we go from range to range. And I'll show you what that looks like, right? So we got the previous range right here coming in. This is the range low, which we're getting rejected at basically, right? As we can see from the current range that we're in now. We re-enter this range, and essentially, this our major target as we're coming into this is going to be the point of control up here at right about $49,000. So like I said, in between there, we've got that yearly key level, right? Got a yearly key level right there, and then you've also got this point of control is actually an NPOC at the moment too. So this is definitely going to be a big area to come into. So we come through, we clear this 47.7. Probably going to possibly see some kind of either rejection at the time or maybe just a little small consolidation here, just because it is such a big level to get through. Although at the same time, when we came through this 2-year level right here, we obviously just blasted right through it. So we'll definitely be paying attention to see how the price reacts at this level. But coming into 47,700 is definitely going to be a great level to be living back above. At this point, too, if we come through here, start living back above this $47,000 yearly level, I mean, you don't even have to have me remind you of how much just major support is below us, right? And then we'd be looking up for sure. The range highs of that comes in at about 50K. 50K has always been an issue to get through, not only because, not even probably actually because it's a big rounded number at 50, but more so because it's just literally put in so much, resistance along the way. I guess, more than anything because people actually have been selling up there and buying, right? So there's a lot of volume that does probably come in at the 50K level. We've been at 50K probably 6 times in the last year, which is very interesting. But so the 50K top range of that would be, a big level to kind of pay attention for. And as far as volume targets go, like I said, we've got the range low coming in right here. We're basically banging our head against it right now. We know the levels to the downside for short term that we're going to be paying attention to. Realistically, right, we're coming up. We got our low, we got our high, we got our high, we got our higher low, we've got our higher high, right? We broke above now this previous level over here, and now we're just looking to come down and make our lower low, right? Or a higher low, I'm sorry. So, whether that's going to be here, whether that's going to be at that $42,000 point of control, whether we're coming back down to this 2-year key level right here, whether we're going to come back down towards that NPOC, any of those few things that we went over at the beginning of the stream. Now that there's quite a few more people in here, I'll go over those again here in a second. But yeah, I mean, essentially we're just building up, this possible uptrend here for Bitcoin. Even on the daily time frame, actually, we've been starting to close very small, but we've been closing small daily candles above the previous high over here. So unlike a lot of the altcoins so far, like Ethereum hasn't put in that higher high quite yet, but Bitcoin may be on the verge of busting out this higher or this uptrend here on the daily time frame. So we just need to see about putting in this higher low. Once again, this literally could be it right here. Just got to see how the price reacts here at the moment. But if not, we know those levels and the levels to the downside that we were looking for. If we do continue lower, once again, there's levels with reason, right? Not just because 2 months ago there was a 4-hour candle that closed here and yada yada. You got got a quarterly key level right below us. We actually got 2 of them stacked up right there. We've got the point of control for the previous range, or the range that we're in right now, coming in about $42,000 as well. So right here you've got a big major time frame as well as a volume target stacked up. So that's pretty big support coming in right there. And then we've got our weekly pivot, which is coming in about 40,500 that we have yet to hit yet. Weekly pivot, where is that at? Right here. So we got our weekly pivot right below that. If you lose these, right? So if you lose these, you're losing your 4-hour 55 EMA as well. So this is also another level of support coming in here just on the short term. But yeah, if you do lose that quarterly, these 2 quarterlies plus the point of control, which is also right here, then I'd be looking to this weekly pivot. Also the CME futures gap. A lot of people will probably be stacking right there. And then the one thing I could see, once again, I mean, we'll have to see how the market looks when we get to here, but wouldn't be surprised to see just a little, pop down to, below that 40K level and really shake everybody up, especially if people are going to actually start entering longs and things of that nature at this level, assuming that because the CME future gap is closed, that's where we turn around, and we very well could. But this is a weekly pivot as well. So I mean that's once again double the confluence here. You got double the confluence here, and then you got a 2-year key level right below that, coming in at $39,800. For some reason, if we keep melting down, right, I'm just giving it all the levels to the downside right here. That would still put in a higher low, right? Give us this higher. This is the only issue when you have these monster runs right here, is that to even remain in this uptrend, you can really have a big retrace, right? And let's see, this probably wouldn't even be that big. I mean, 15% is pretty big for Bitcoin, I guess, because that's going to really wreck the altcoins. The other thing though is that, even while we're looking for all these levels down here, just note that this is one of those times too where a lot of people are looking for a downside entry, looking to re-enter, looking to, short these highs, thinking that it's really going to come down too. But do note that, we do have really key support right below us right now. Quarterly level, like I said, point of control, just another $1,000 away. Turning around here would, this is still something like until we really lose this $43,000 level. We might not see these, but if we do start coming down, I'm just giving reason, right? Like we were talking on Debate Crypto last night, just kind of, somebody asked me if we break down below 40K again, would it be bear market or this or that? And it's just like, there's very, notable targets down here, just the same way that this was a volume target right here at 33K. So it's not necessarily just when you break a big rounded number, if that means you're in a bear market or a bear, whatever. So, but I'll leave that to you to, obviously to decide for yourself. But right below that is our monthly open and an NPOC, right? So that would be kind of like really where I wouldn't want to see us get too much farther lower than that, right? Because once again, we got our doomsday levels that we really just worked hard to get back above. These were the levels we were looking to regain last week to continue on to the upside. And that really comes in basically at the base level is at our 2-year key level right there. So losing that, living below here for quite a while would probably not be the best thing to note. But we'll, like I said, we'll keep up and see how things kind of progress in that nature. But if you do start coming down, and if you do see that $39,000, ticker on your feed there, there is a 2-year key level at that level, big support, and right below that there's an NPOC as well as, right, we got that one right there, 38.5. That's a NPOC, big volume target, as well as the monthly open right there, 38.5. So 38.5 for me, as long as we're holding that and not losing that level, then I think we're still in good shape. And that's, once again, just, you can't necessarily just count on that occurring. We, like I said, got so much support right below us, and honestly, we could just turn around right here, right? You had a high time frame level right below us right now that we're obviously finding pretty well. Okay, so just kind of reiterating too, we've got our top of the current range coming in about $45,000 of our, if you're going to put a smaller range within a range here, but kind of looking at the larger time frame here, we've got, if we break above this level right here, this 45.8, we're going to be re-entering the previous monthly range over here. So that is the range that we were in when we were basically in this time frame, right? So that's when we rallied up to 52K right at Christmas time, and then we took the plunge right after. So this is the range that we're going to re-enter as soon as we break above this $45,800. So let me turn off some of these key levels and kind of clean this up a little bit. That 12M right there. Okay, I'll leave that one on because that's within our next range coming up. Weekly pivot and the key level up here. So we'll turn that off, and we'll turn that one. All right, so nice and clean. So we just went over all the levels to the downside, right? If we're going to see them coming, we're literally sitting on some really big high time frame support right now. I know this is, can be viewed as a double top and this and that and what have you. And yeah, we could see some lower low come in for this, this level right here. But all in all, we've been going over, we've been putting in this uptrend here. So now we put in basically a higher high compared to over here as well. We just need to print this higher low, and that really can be anywhere above this level, right? Above basically like 36K. And once again, we just went through all the levels that, why, if we see some of these coming down, the whys behind them. So, really don't be, super shocked and losing your mind if you do see a 39K again, a 38.5, yada, yada, yada. So, but, on the flip side here, coming around right here, and we break back into this range, right? This is, start closing candle bodies into this previous range. Once again, this is the previous monthly range right here. Low is at 45.8, right? You got your high coming in about $50,200. This white level right here is our big volume target, right? This is our point of control. If we break back in this range, this is going to be the natural target that we're going to progress to. In between there, we've got a yearly key level coming in about $47,700. It's probably going to offer a nice little pit stop for a hot minute. But once we break through that, we're looking up to this point of control, right? $49,000 right there. After that, you got your range highs ultimately, and then from there we start cycling to the next range after that. So take it step by step, but yeah, this is definitely what I'd be paying attention for here in the short term. We could just range it out a little bit, where we are right now. Over the weekend, we'll see how that thing, actually recently on the weekends we've seen some pretty decent, whether they're but just very odd action. Let's just say that, because on Saturday, we can really do whatever we want, and then by Sunday you come back down as the futures markets reopen and all this and all that. So we don't tend to get super major moves that hold over the weekend. You tend to see whether it's going to be a big drop or a big run up. It's generally short-lived within Saturday to Sunday, or by Monday we kind of correct back. But we'll see how things go over the weekend. But regardless, you got the levels to watch, right? This is what we'll be looking for. Break into this range, we break back into this previous monthly, and we're probably going up to this point of control, right? Over time. You got one big level right in your way right there, and living back above this yearly key level, and that's pretty. You're gonna have a yearly key level above you. You're gonna have that 2-year key level below you. I mean, we're gonna have so much support, basically. To granted, if we came back down and retested this, you're still talking about a 39K Bitcoin, but living above this level is going to quite necessarily, probably lead to some pretty nice continuation there. So SLP, everybody wants to know about SLP. SLP was such a gamble. It fell down like 99%, I think it was. We were looking at the other day, but it was basically basing off of its global point of control. So if you did manage to catch it, obviously it's got a lot of room to run, but it did almost essentially run to zero. SLP has been crushing it, I will say that, but only if you bought it at the exact bottom. Anybody that had already been in SLP, you got crushed. But SLP, is a small, so it's $50 million the other day when we looked at it. I think it went up another 100% though. So I liked SLP. We traded it quite a bit back last year when it had a couple big moves, and then like I said, if you ended up just holding that though, that's a monster run. But look at this run down, right? It's got so much room to make up, which is a great thing, I guess. Getting in at this moment, if you haven't bought into it, it's probably a little bit of a risk, obviously. But that was down 97% from July. Oddly enough, when the whole market turned around last year, this is the only thing not the only thing, but this is something that just kind of just straight melted down. The only thing I could say about SLP for now, for the person asking, is that it's at least the other day it was printing some really big bearish divergence. It hadn't played out yet, obviously. Still ran up another good amount here. For anybody that was in this, though, you're talking 350. But once again, if you got the bottom, that was a big that was a good move if you got in there. Yeah, look at this bearish divergence, like crazy, right? Got a high, lower high. I guess it's maybe starting to play out. We're getting a big drop in the RSI, not much of a drop in the price. But yeah, this is just to put that in perspective again. This could keep going. Obviously, this is small caps. Small caps are crazy. But this is up almost 400%. So if you're not in SLP, I wouldn't necessarily chase this big green run. If you go to a daily, this is going to look like probably 2 or 3 big candles. Yeah, so up to you, of course. But that's probably not even. It's not necessarily even like. You're talking about overbought on the daily. Bearish divergences popping up. Could go higher. That's the thing, right? That's with any of these cryptos. when you're ever looking at some of this stuff, like if you're going to consider bearish divergence or looking in on RSI, it's kind of just like a looking out the window and seeing some rain clouds coming, and you know it's going to rain. You just can't really, you don't know when. So you just kind of that's the best way I could put it, right? So it's like we could go a little higher. You're getting some wicks at the top, and if this one comes in as a lower high, I'm sure we're going to get that pullback, and you're probably going to be looking back down to your daily, at least your daily 20 down here, which once again, I mean, it could do whatever, but don't be surprised to see like a nice 30 or 40% pullback on something that just rallied 400%, right? So just be cautious on some of those, especially after they've already run. But congrats to anybody who got in on that, or was, maybe you're holding it and you made some of your, made some back. Good old ETH. So I keep it really simple with the ETH chart right now. It's kind of looking in the same fashion as the same way as Bitcoin, right? So this is the daily chart here. You've got your range low coming in right here, exactly where we based off of. We've got your range high. Our point of control is actually all the way back down here. So if we start turning around here, this is going to imply that Bitcoin probably drops down to those levels that we were looking at and stuff like that. That point of control would be a big area that you want to pay attention for. That's going to be about $2,400. Monthly open is a pretty big one too to hold that support at 27. And what else we got here? That turned everything off, I think. You got one volume target, basically not one, but you got a major volume target basically coming up here about $4,000. What I like about the ETH chart right now is basically if we look to break this range high about 3,200, I don't think it would be. Once again, I guess I can't say that, but it probably wouldn't be too long of a journey to get back up to this 4K area. At this 4K area, we've got this volume target. We've got a golden pocket lined up right here as well, and I'm sure there's a key level up there. Yep. So you got a quarterly key level, high time frame. You got a volume target, and you got a golden pocket, all stacked within about $150 of Ethereum. This to me would be the next major area of interest coming up when we break 3,200. You got some, we'll probably have some small little speed bumps along the way. Right here, you're holding your, barely holding, kind of losing it actually, your 1 year key level here, which for Bitcoin, we're just looking at that. The equivalent to that is actually about 47,000. But for Ethereum, we're not necessarily holding that very well at the moment. But if we do hold this level, come back through, break through here, I'd be looking up. Like I said too, this is the daily time frame, and unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum's not yet made a higher high, so can be easily done if Bitcoin does continue upwards in some of these levels that we're looking towards to the upside. But so far, Ethereum is still technically in a downtrend, right? So to see this kind of melt back down to this monthly open, or what else we got down here? We got our 2 year level coming in right here at about 28. Let's just call it 2,900. That's a big level of support coming in right there. I mean, if we get locked in between these two, you got a lot of support coming in just between these two levels right here. This is 3 years of data right here. That's basically supporting you. So, yeah, that 2,900 would be a big one to watch for. And that's, if we drop, it's 5%, I think, right, give or take. Yeah, like a 5% move. Granted, the same thing applies for Ethereum, just like with Bitcoin, right? We're over $3,000, and if you break that, it's just this psychological barrier. Like, right, people just start losing their mind, thinking that we got to go back down to the next rounded level, right? If we break 3,000, you got to go to 2. It's very odd in that sense, right? Because like right below, it's not to the dollar of like $3,000 comes in as support. It's like 2,900, So very interesting stuff here, but. Yeah, you break to the upside, two things to look for here. You break this 3,200, we're looking up towards 38 and 4K over time. Otherwise, if we start heading back down, you got a major 2 year level sitting about 2,900. We got a monthly open, big level support here, come about 27. And then we've got our point of control, $2,400. Worst case, I guess we go back down to the range lows, we put in a double bottom, and then we really take off from there. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking for here for ETH in the short term there. Is everybody bearish? You know what I've done recently? I've really like literally filtered out everybody. I don't listen to the news. Magic Internet Money. I partnered up with him. We started up this new Discord, and we've just been really hitting the pavement on putting out setups, charts, content, exclusive for the members. We've been putting up just a ton of new things, working on some new strategies and tools and all this and all that. I couldn't even tell you what the sentiment is with others, I guess. And just looking at this, I just feel like it just changes your perspective at all, because you just are aware of what to look for, right? Like it's a very simple idea, in my opinion, is that for Bitcoin especially, when Bitcoin fell to $33,000, I didn't even, we didn't even blink at the time, right? And a lot of that comes from Magic Internet Money, right? So I partnered up with this guy, and I call him the Bit King, because he's just, guy knows Bitcoin's every, possible move, not what move it's going to take, but he can make he's got every plan in place for the possible moves here. And on Christmas Eve, Christmas week, whatever, that was his first week that he kind of came into the group. We were back on Telegram. We did an exclusive live stream, and he literally mapped out this exact move all the way down to 33, and we were looking at 32 possibly, because we had that WNPOC, right? Those doomsday levels. I didn't necessarily create these. I went back and I charted them myself, but I got these from Magic's insight in, so to speak. And then when we were going through this, I was like, man, that's a crazy. Nobody's looking for that, right? So these were levels that he had on his chart from honestly back in July of last year, because this is what that comes from, right? This is a target derived from July of last year, and basically once we came through and broke that 58K level up here, he was prepared for these moves, and that's why I brought him into my trading group here. And then, like I said, we created this new Discord. It's going great. He puts in a ton of effort too, to put in, teaching everybody. We've got, for anybody that's interested just in doing this, we got another weekly update. We do exclusive live updates just for the members on Wednesday nights, almost 2 hours every Wednesday, 2 hours almost on Sunday. You get read-only updates for me. So this is all altcoin setups here. Magic is pretty much a lot of just Bitcoin for the most part, on a macro level, on an intraday level, on day trading level. A guy can just spit out every move of Bitcoin, man. It's crazy. And if you don't know anything about trading at all, we've got an academy where we just basically put in everything you'll need to know, how to utilize the tools and resources that we use to trade. And it really is just a really great area to come into. We've got Bitcoin charts only, so this is where actually we got about 20 active big time traders that are constantly in here, and then anybody's welcome to put in their charts as well. Everybody's offering help. Right here, Max, he's over in Dubai. He's our order flow and open interest specialist. So we're going to be getting into order flow here in a bit, and he covers basically from 10 at night till noon the next day. He's so 24/7. One of us is available basically. BTC chat, you got the order flow. We do a classroom setting every couple of days. We go in there and we'll literally have people building charts. And even if you don't want to build charts yourself, you just want to be able to read it, understand it, know what we're talking about when we put it out there. And it's a lot of value. And give it a check. Its link is in my bio if you want to give that a run through. Like I said, we're going to have our next exclusive weekly meeting, which is very similar to the one we had right here, literally mapping out this exact move. While we were coming down here, we were then planning on, we had 3 dates that we were looking for this reversal coming in, and February 8th was a big one, the 26th of January was a big one, and the 31st of January was a big one. And I don't know if you noticed this, but essentially the 26th, right, is essentially when we turned around. So 26th, 30th, we got the 8th now coming in. So it's been a wild ride for sure. But definitely to me, I just feel like if you have it's one of those cliche things of having that plan, right? So whether or not if you're even able to act on it, if you have the idea and you have the why behind, if we lose this level, we're probably going to 33K. Even if you couldn't sell out and do whatever up here because you were already down so much, you knew it, right? When you woke up and you saw that, you were just like, shit, right? So you looked away for a few days because you knew we were going to come back up. But anyways, yeah, BTC, very simple. Break above this 45.8. More than likely, we're going up to this 47.7. at least. Then you got the point of control coming in here. This is actually an NPOC, so this is a pretty big volume target coming in, and we break into this range, and that natural target does become this. 50K is essentially the range high. You can all imagine we'll probably see a rejection around there. We never so far have busted right through 50K, right? And like I said, we've hit 50K now. Jeez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This would be our 10th time getting the 50K in the last year. X-Cur. X-Cur was doing really good. X-Cur's got some new backers for sure. I liked X-Cur the second I saw it, and this was before it even got brought up anywhere. I think it was back before it fell back to $2 or less. But it was last summer. I saw that it already had that working NFT marketplace on the iOS store. So I thought it was a pretty interesting project just in its own. And where are we at here? I do actually update X-Cur, Trias, and a couple of these other smaller ones quite often in the Discord too. So X-Cur was one we put out the other night on another update. So the last setup here was this inverse head and shoulders we were looking for. Right, got the breakout there. You got a measured move and a 1.618 level, basically coming in at about $4. Obviously, this was posted before the breakout here at about $2.40. So we're already coming into, I think we came into the second or third target already, coming back and retesting this level. So we're coming back to the 20 EMA right now on a 4-hour time frame. We're getting a bounce from there. Right? Entering any of these things after they're kind of already, having these bigger moves is always a little bit of a risk. But I would imagine that we're going to continue upwards here. Now the big question is what's Bitcoin going to do, right? So if Bitcoin starts pulling back, obviously we know that that's going to affect the entire market as we go forward. But yeah, I'd still be looking for this continuation towards this $4 region over time, right? This has also been a breakout that's taken like 2 days. So it's not like, these things aren't running 200% a day right now. Right, this was, 3 days so far to get to this level we're at now. So I'd say probably over the next few days, maybe call it a week, we get back up to this $4 level. From the breakout there, you'd be looking at, possible, depending on when you got in, 40, 50, 60% move. Doesn't have to stop here either, but more than likely you're going to see some profits be taken there. So I did go over Quant yesterday, and CRV. I want to take a look at CRV with you all too real quick. There wasn't as many viewers yesterday, so I will do Quant again just because I know that that's kind of been a fan favorite recently. And appreciate you all sticking around here and viewing. Hope you're all having a great morning, getting ready for a nice weekend. Hopefully we got some sideways action coming out of Bitcoin so these altcoins can continue to move. All right, so the thing is with a lot of these altcoins that I noticed yesterday, which CRV had a really clear indication of this, is that I was looking at this and you kind of started to see this, like head and shoulders pattern maybe like forming on all of the altcoins. Not all of them, but quite a few. There's some that are just straight up, as clean as you can imagine. So whether those play out or not is the question, because a lot of times that, those can be some, when they're very obvious, it can be some fake outs. But we did start seeing some of these pullbacks yesterday with Bitcoin as well. So for Quant here, what we're looking for, once again, just very simple, couple simple levels to watch, right? We were at this daily level right here, and these two dailies that you got marked out here, this is pretty much the last levels of support right before we fell down in the middle of last month, right? We were holding this level about 160. As soon as you lost it, we just went straight down. So now coming back above these levels is pretty ideal, and then from there we've got some pretty big levels, targets to the upside right off the rip, right? So what you're looking for out of Quant here, for one, if we start losing this, not even just that 55, realistically we lose that daily, which we already did lose, you may consider coming back down to this monthly key level. That's about 123. We're already at 141 right now. So if we did come down to this, about 10-12% move, as always, that's implying we're probably going to see, that's with probably a 5% move out of Bitcoin, depending, right? But regardless, this would be a big key level to pick up some quant, or just be aware that if you see your quant dropping down to 124, that is a pretty decent level of support coming in right there. But breaking above these two dailies right here, you got your two daily levels right here, and what is it? Oh, that's the range high. We got the range high right there at about 153 of our current range. So also breaking above that too, we'd be looking upwards. Regardless, we'd be entering into this previous range from basically December time, January, and then from here we're looking up to this yearly open. You got this volume target coming in right there, 185, and you clear this volume target right here, and 210 and 258 are on the table easily, right? And then we clear this yearly open in this point of control, and then we're making give or take really above this 210 is really going to be that higher high compared to where we had kind of leveled off before. Obviously, I know a lot of people don't understand when you say like, oh, you want to wait to see that, because that's obviously a 50% move you'd miss out on depending on what you're doing. So if you're actively trading, right, that sometimes you want to look for some of those to come in. Or you look for that key level to come in and support, enter there. Right now, you're kind of in a little bit of a limbo. To me, more than anything, I'd be looking for those dailies to get broken and held above right about 160. So you start holding above 160, 164, then I'd be looking to basically go up to these next levels. And then you break that point of control, and that 210 and 258, they'll probably come pretty nicely. Yeah, today I'm going to be working on, I got about 8 or 9 new charts I'm building out today. I'm going to put them in the Discord pretty much after this. I'll be building them for the next few hours here, and I'll be dropping them in the Discord. So, I think we're almost out of time here, 8:30. Like I said, really appreciate you all coming out. Definitely been a nice stream today compared to yesterday and the other day. If you're interested in joining our Discord, our link is in my bio. Go ahead and give that a try there. You will have access to all my altcoin setups. You got access to Magic Internet Money, right? If you don't know him yet, definitely give him a follow. He's here on TikTok as well. Amazing analyst, even better trader, if you can believe it. Yeah, just solid efforts, man. You got basically, Bitcoin's, complete strategy for Bitcoin here. Every in and out. I mean, this guy's got his Bitcoin chart is to the nines. And like I said, you got altcoin updates on here. We've got an academy, which pretty much, this is not a course by any means, but I mean, this is equivalent to what some people out there would consider that, I guess. But this is basically a step-by-step guide. If you don't know anything about charting, trading, anything like that, this is going to get you up to speed. And, very quickly, within just a couple hours, you can be through all these videos here. We're still actively adding to those as well. We've got a charts only area for Bitcoin, charts only area for members too, right? This is for members to post in here, and everybody can kind of to get some other feedback from everybody. We've got Max right here. He's in Dubai, and he's our order flow specialist, open interest specialist. Literally just focuses just on that. We're going to be introducing order flow here pretty soon. We've got a section for it here, but we're going to really introduce it and roll it out to everybody, teach everybody the ins and outs on that, for anyone that's interested there. NFT, gaming, metaverse, all that kind of good stuff there. We got some traditional stuff. We got a classroom setting where we go over in-depth how to start to finish build a chart, for anybody that's interested in doing that, or just learning on how to understand what you're looking at when you see some of these setups, or especially some of the things when Magic puts out. He's using things that most people really don't. You'll learn how to use it here in the academy, so which is great. But it's not the things that you usually would come across, in a normal technical analysis setting that we've noticed, right? So these are some really great tools, though. And so that's my little pitch there. But if you'd like to join that, give it a try. It's in our my bio. And then otherwise, I'll be live on Monday again for sure. I may do a live stream tomorrow as well, depending. But Monday through Friday, aiming to be on here between 7 to 7:30 a.m. Daily. So hope you all enjoyed the show. Look forward to seeing you in the trading group for anybody that's in there. And until next time, everybody, cheers.